Here I'm about to cross the bridge onto Ruyi Island, on that bridge that's in the northwest corner of the island. Glancing to my left as I prepare to cross the bridge, I think is the Misty Rain Tower, right on the edge here. Louis XIV's Versailles was spectacular as to its buildings and grounds, but I think these are far, far more beautiful. Subtract the boats and the buildings in the background and the music, although the emperor may well have had music. I'm just going to cruise counterclockwise around the island. You can imagine coming over here and having lunch, but with the hordes of attendants, I wonder if it was that pleasant. And here amidst all of this, a single flower blooms all by itself. It's an irony that probably most of the weed whackers that we use in the United States and Europe are made in China, but here this grass is cut by hand. And it can't be from the noise because Chinese apparently can tolerate a tremendous amount of noise. This is interesting. It's a stone sculpted tree trunk stump. I think the music is emanating from over there. So here's the view, and either a weed whacker or a lawnmower in the background. Why didn't the emperor like this view? Missed one. Apparently 2 men poled that boat. This is a pretty little trail. I only saw one other person on it. You can factor out the noise. You might even imagine the emperor walked here once. Another empty boat, hot-footing it back to the starting point. In the background, you may be able to hear the high-pitched voices of the Chinese or Beijing opera. I think that these are an allusion to the Buddhist gongs. And it's kind of fun when you go to Buddhist temples because everybody goes by them, rings them one after another, which you're supposed to do. Here, of course, an offering oven for sacrificial tokens. It's fascinating because it's so alien for me to see these kind of caricatures when I'm so used to my Christian Western caricatures. This would have been some kind of a building. You can see the circular carved platforms for, or bases for columns. It occurred to me that these may be like the Tibetan prayer wheels, and that you simply spin these as your method of showing reverence. This complex is the Misty Rain Tower. You can imagine the emperor coming here, this two-story building, to hang out, have lunch, spend time with the concubines, probably a vacation away from the other buildings elsewhere. This pretty circular window with the rocks placed in front of it would have created a very pretty vantage point from the inside to view the lake and perhaps the mountain beyond. And here is some of that view. Even now, with a construction probably not as ideal as it would have been created for the emperor, it's still pretty. Circular frame making it very alluring. My guess is that this entire structure is all man-made. Just a large version of an oriental garden piece, if you will. Here, for example, looks like there's a cave we could explore, so we will. Nobody else is. Now we can walk through. Perhaps the emperor enjoyed this. You would think, since they built it, but who knows? What a pleasant place this would have been for the emperor to have had lunch. With one or more of his concubines. You wonder if some of the emperors, if not all, had their moments of great consternation, like the one emperor who came here seeking refuge from the British takeover of Beijing. This is neat because it is like walking down a mountain, although been created by others, but and from this pavilion, it falls, giving not only visual beauty but sound in a very intimate little pond setting. So this is the Misty Rain Tower, but what's interesting I just saw is in the far background on top of the hill is an icon like the Sleeping Indian in Jackson or the Grand Teton of this area. This is a natural feature. You can actually take a taxi and go up and look at it. Here's a somewhat quaint building. And this is called the Fresh Sunlight Pavilion. And I remember that when I built my house out near the village that I purposely had little alcoves in it, little spots that I thought and did use as providing a very specific, unique little ambiance, if you will. And another pavilion, giving us an emperor's pretty view. And this clear water with green mountains pavilion.